Hello, welcome back to the channel. Welcome aboard if you're new. Have a seat on the sub button, and we're going to take a look at this game again, SimplePlanes 2. The first video didn't get a whole lot of attention, which is fine. I still like the game a lot, so we're going to play it a little more, and one person was nice enough to comment and suggest that I actually try building something, in the game that's about building things. So we're going to do that. But instead of going with like a jet or something like I would normally want to do straight off, I think I'm going to utilize my previous knowledge to try and make a vehicle, a car or truck. Since if you've seen any of my previous videos, you probably know that I used to be a mechanic. So I kind of like to look at things from that perspective sometimes. So I did go through and do the tutorials, and I kind of played around in the editor a little bit just to get used to the controls. So I think we're okay to give this a try. So what I want to build is going to take a little bit of creativity because I didn't see all the parts we need for it to do it a specific way anyways. Because to do it a specific way, I would need a pass-through differential. Because what I want to do is I want to make like a 6x6, like a Unimog, a 6-wheel drive vehicle. So we're going to try doing that. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to use this as our frame. Is there a way to shrink both sides at the same time? This is something I do not know. And it did not tell me in the... Because I can go back and forth between the three, but... Or am I just going to have to... Ooh, that's kind of crazy. But anyways, so I think we're going to use this piece as our frame. So let's take a look at the engine. I want to use the big semi-truck engine so you can kind of get an idea of what we're going to be doing size-wise. Alright, so let's go ahead and make this hollow so we can see through it because we're just going to be using this as our frame. So we're going to stretch that back some. And make it a bit narrower. Okay, let's see, we've got 1 and 0.3. There we go. Now they should be the same. Alright. We'll go with that for the base for our frame right now. We'll get our engine sitting on here. Where'd our little button go? It must be under our engine. Alright, so since we're going to have to get creative with the drivetrain, let's go ahead and start by building that first. Then we can build the rest of the vehicle kind of around it. We may have, well, we'll see if we have to adjust this, because the suspension, we don't have a whole lot of options. I don't know how to build my own or if that's even possible right now, so we'll work on that later. So we'll get a transmission on here. And let's see, we will make it, we'll make it an 8-speed, yeah. Give it an off-road gear profile. And then we'll adjust this later if we need to. Alright, so we got our gearbox. Next, we're going to need to figure out how we're going to hook all of this to our wheels. So we're going to need to get our suspension down so we can figure out where our wheels are going to be. And we're going to have to use these wishbones, but we'll make it work. Alright, so those are very, very small. Let's see if we can't do something about that. I could make them huge, but we don't want them too big. Let's go nice even 200%, and then we'll... Is there a way to make this square? Probably not. Or actually, there probably is, I just don't know it. Or maybe not, because that's just the core fuselage, so let's adjust this a little bit so it at least looks like it contacts our suspension some. Alright, let's see. 115.5. That's close enough. Alright, let's readjust our engine here. So we're sitting on it. Adjust those a bit. There we go. And then we're gonna, I think it's right click. Yeah, it duplicates it. We're gonna get another set back here. I think we're gonna need a bit more room. We'll shorten that down later to whatever we need. So let's get these back here, and then we'll get one more set a bit further back. We'll work on the spacing as we go. Let's actually take a look at some wheels. Well, those are tiny. We're definitely going to have to resize those some. Okay, you want me to work on this side then? Alright, let's see. We don't want them too big. What is it? We'll go with 250. Let's see, tread, pavement princess, tractor, sledgehammer, mega stomper, ATV, freight fighter. Oh, wrong button. Okay, let's go with sledgehammer. Don't know if it makes a difference, but might as well change the rims too while we're at it. Alright, and then we're going to want to set these so they steer some. We'll go 20 degrees. And the suspension, let's give this a bit more ride height. We'll put that at 150. I should have done all these settings before I copied them, but that's okay. You live and you learn, right? Alright, so we are going to make it a little bit softer with a bit more damper. Should have done this before, but that's okay. Alright. Now that we got our position for this, okay, it doesn't seem that I can make it transparent, but let's go to our powertrain view. Okay, so now we need to get drive to these. And I just hit the wrong button. Okay. So we've got our transmission. Let's see what we need next. We are going to have to get creative, but I think we can make it work with the transfer cases. Alright, so we've got a transfer case here. We're just going to rotate that around, and what we're going to do, I'm just attaching it to keep it centered. Alright, so how are we going to want to do this? Yeah, let's try it like this. We'll move this down here. About there. And then we're going to go into the settings here for it and disconnect it from that. And for some reason that always changes the view back, but that'll let us attach a drive line here. So we'll go ahead and attach that. I did play around with it. Oh, we don't need duplicate. I did play around with it a bit to figure out how stuff works. So I found out that when two parts are attached, it automatically links them. All right, so now we've got power to this transfer case. And then we're going to use this, and we're going to get our rear differential here. Move this into position. Get that kind of down here some. And we'll rotate it, give it a little bit better angle on that. You know, I can probably rotate this too. No, we'll just leave it like that. That's fine. The game, I don't think the game's going to care really. We need to disconnect these. There we go. Fix my view again. I said fix my view again. Why do you keep going back? Stop it. Alright, there we go. What is going on? Is it because it's on part connections? Alright, there we go. So, we've got that. Now, we're going to get drive to these rear tires with a couple more shafts. There we go. Now we should have drive to the rear tires. Now we need to get the middle tires and the front tires, which is where we're going to have to get a little bit more creative, but not too much. So we are going to need another transfer case. Let's see, will it let me connect it on here? We need to rotate it. There we go. Let's get this here, and then we're going to move this one forward this way, like so. And then we'll disconnect it. Fix our view again. Unless there's got to be a way to hide parts, right? So maybe I can hide this part. That doesn't help. Yeah, we'll just stick with this for now. This is fine. All right, so let's get another drive shaft here, and we will connect up this transfer case now. And then we need a differential for our middle set of tires. And normally what you would do is you'd have the transfer case up front and a shaft to go through the pass-through diff that would power these, and then it would have another shaft going to the normal diff in the back. But unfortunately, we can't do that with this, so we're going to make do with what we got here. There we go, that should work for now. Unlink that. No, I want my view. Alright, there we go. Now, we'll connect this differential up. No, I just want the end. There we go. And then we'll connect these middle tires up. Now, I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm hoping we can make it work. I think this game can manage it. Alright, now we just need our front diff. So we'll get this. Move it all the way forward. Like so. Down a little bit. I guess it kind of really wants to be there for the visuals. Alright, and then we will get our drive shaft connected here. And then get our front tires connected. There we go. Now, hopefully we should now have 6-wheel drive. This stuff's spread out way too far, but that's okay. Alright, now... Oh, that's fugly. Let's try and make that look a little bit better before we go any further. Otherwise it's going to bother me later. Let's see, we'll put this about here. Yeah, about right here. And then we'll just go like this. There we go. Make it a bit wider. There we go. That's better. And then we'll get another one up here. Now, I apologize in advance. I'm not very good at games like this as far as building and stuff goes, so it's not something I do a whole lot of. And I'm not a very creative person by nature, so it can make... we'll just leave that for now. Alright, so we've got an engine. We've got this. Let's go back over here. There we go. That's what I was looking for. I wanted to shorten that down a bit. There we go. Alright. So next, we can cover this all up, or we can just try and drive it as it is. Let's add a little bit more to it first. We'll get some boxy space over the engine. Alright, so we want to make that a little bit wider. 155. That didn't do it. That was the middle. Alright, there we go. Now let's move this back just a tad. Stretch this out so it covers this. And then we'll just... yeah, we'll leave it about like that for now. I don't know if there's a way to do like flat covers on stuff. I know there's nose cones. Whoa, okay, that's a bit on the long side. We don't gotta... okay, cool. Excellent. We can make that work, I think. Oh, we'll leave the frame open. Well, actually, no, you know what? Yeah, we'll leave it open so we can look through and verify that stuff's moving right. Alright, we're just gonna go... and then we'll put a fancy hole in here somewhere. Can I make it round? I can. Move it down a little bit and enough depth that it passes through. It's not quite the angle I was looking for, but wait, actually, you know what? I should be able to rotate this. Right? Right. There we go. Now let's see if we can... Oh, that's not what I wanted. I wanted this one right here. Okay. Okay, the depth is going to have to be... Oh, actually, I can move it back this way so it's not... There we go. Much better. Is there a way to stop it from auto-snapping? Is that it? Okay, yeah, cool. There we go. Spent way too much time on a fancy hole, I know. Alright, let's get a seat on here so we can test it. We could build it into an actual vehicle later or build something else if we want to, but for now we just need some testing. So we're going to grab Chad here. Get him into a comfortable position. Let's see. Okay, I'll build modules, I think, later with pedal blocks and stuff. We'll oh, not what I wanted to do. He can steer with the yoke. Da, da, da. Oh, you can actually do specific settings for that. Okay, interesting. That's good to know. I just wanted to see if I could make it longer. But that's good enough for now. And we can either put fuel in. We'll put fuel in here for now, and then we'll add tanks later. So we'll go 65 gallons. We did set those so they could turn, yeah. Alright, let's give it a try and see if it works. I'm curious to see if I can make the 6-wheel drive work or not. Well, it's sufficiently bouncy. Oh, it's moving. And we can steer it. The yoke fell off. I suppose it wasn't really attached to anything. Okay, we definitely need to work on the gearing a bit. But it is supposed to be off-road, so let's go take it off-road a little bit. Look at that, it works. We've got a 6-wheel drive. Everything's turning right, yep. Oh. Suspension might be a little too springy, but we can tune that. Out of my way. Damaged my nose cone. Oh no. Oh, that's a wall. This thing actually handles fairly well for just essentially a frame with a seat. So yeah, there we go. We built a 6-wheel drive vehicle. And we did it in less than half an hour, which is pretty good, I think. So, we'll probably leave this at here. If you'd like to see me build more stuff or figure out how to build more stuff, different vehicles, I know there's planes. I don't know if you can build anything for the water or not, but that'd be cool if you could. Other vehicle ideas, I'm happy to try. I mean, we got all the basics done for this 6-wheel drive vehicle. We could always do more if we wanted. We'd have to get pretty creative with the transfer cases, but we could also mess around with different gear ratios on different differentials and transmissions and stuff. But anyways, I think we're going to go ahead and leave it at that. And I have no idea what to call this. It kind of looks like a suppository, so... Anyways, until next time, take care, be safe, and I will see you later.